I love introducing innovative new products to you, and this is one of them. It is my pleasure to introduce Saad Dar. He is head of business development with Baselane, and this is an innovative new product that we have talked about on the podcast and the main YouTube channel. And basically, what they've done is they've taken all the advantages of real estate software that helps you track and manage your properties and collect rent and many other things that you'll see in a moment. And they've layered it on top of a banking platform. Normally, these are two separate pieces. You've got your bank over here, you've got your software over here, and Baselane has married the two. So I think you'll be really excited about this product, and I'm looking forward to diving in. Saad, welcome. How are you?
Hi, thank you so much. Excited to be here.
It's good to have you, and you're coming to us from Atlanta, Georgia. The company is based in New York City. So tell us how it all works and how it came about.
Absolutely. So, yeah, our founders started the company because they were working in the banking and fintech space, and they realized that there was an opportunity as investors themselves with real estate. They realized even just with one property how difficult it was for somebody to be able to really manage that property because you have so many different relationships, probably 10, 15 different relationships just to manage even one rental. And so you can imagine as you scale, it gets more complicated. And so the vision of Baselane is to really help real estate investors of all types and sizes to be able to manage their rental finances and to really run their entire business on one platform. And that's what we're building towards. And I'm a Burr investor myself. I've got 20 units, mostly long term, some mix of midterm STR. And I ran into them through a friend of mine when they were starting the company a few years ago. And I got super excited because I was a landlord with about 7, 8 units at the time. And I was struggling. And I just hated all the different kind of clunky technology out there. And I wanted something better. And so I decided to join the company myself as well to help build, what I wanted to use for my business. And so I'm super excited to show you all what you're going to be going through here. So basically, we are going to show you a demo account. So just to be super clear, all of this data is 100% not real. It's nobody's information. It's not anything that's from anybody's accounts. So this is 100% a demonstration only. And what we're going to be walking through is a couple of things. We're going to walk you through Baselane banking as well as the analytics and the bookkeeping. And then we'll also show you the online rent collection and some of the other features that we're building. And so really what we want you to take away is a few things. One is you can really save a lot of time with something like this, not only from the efficiency of having it on one platform, but really some of the aspects I'm going to show you in the bookkeeping is really amazing. And then we'll talk about how it saves you money, as well as, gives you less headache and less stress throughout the process of managing rentals every month. And so I'm logged in here. This is a demo account with several different bank accounts. And one of the big, I think, conveniences of Baselane is that, you can open a bank account within a few minutes. And so this is a business checking account. It could be for sole prop or an LLC, but really you can open a business account from anywhere. I met a person recently who was complaining about opening a traditional bank account and had to go out and meet with his partner and go to the branch. And it was like a week, 1 week, 2 weeks just to open the account. Here, it takes a few minutes. Sometimes it might take maybe a couple of hours if it's manual review. And so
Well,
that's
let
one
me
thing.
let me let me just speak to that if I may.
Yeah.
First of all, in the post 9/11 world, we've had the Patriot Act, we have this whole movement toward what's called KYC, know your customer. It is a nightmare. I mean, I've never spent so much time on banking in my life. It's just unbelievable how onerous it's become. And I can attest to it because I opened an account with Baselane and it was so quick and easy. So I'll definitely give you a testimonial on that.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
I got my Visa card in the mail and it's attached to the account and it gives cash back on a big cash back on home improvements. And so you can talk about that later. But
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. So in terms of the rewards, as you mentioned it, one is convenience of the opening the account. You can open several different accounts. You can earn up to 4.19% APY on all the deposits. And then we have a program with the cashback. And this is so exciting because it's only, designed for real estate investors. So you can get cash back on things like home improvement, like Lowe's or Home Depot and things like that. And so that's really exciting to be able to give that value back. And so that's kind of the high level. And what I'd love to show is if I click into one of these accounts, one of the main features that we have is you can create what we call virtual accounts. And these are really like envelopes that allow you to basically split up your earnings and expenses in a way that's meaningful. We all create a pro forma, we all project things in the pro forma like vacancy, maintenance reserve, all these things, but we never actually get to put that money aside. Now you can. So here's an example. We've got a main account with $22,000, but we had collected some security deposits, so we put that aside. Now you have to check your legal, local state laws about security deposits and how you can hold it. But in most states, we're able to offer you this ability to park the security deposit aside. What I like to always coach on is also to create a maintenance reserve account. We always project that in the pro forma when we're underwriting. So this is really important, maybe 5% a month that you put away for every single door that you have.
Yeah, what we say, by the way, on our performance is 4% of the value of the property. On the side, if the property is newer, you may need less than that. If it's older, you may need more. But as a rule of thumb, a minimum of 4% in cash available for vacancies, contingencies, emergencies. That's what you want to have as a reserve account because you never want to be forced into a distressed position. So that's great.
Absolutely. And one of my favorite things that we've been kind of teaching newer investors to put together a separate account to save for your next deal. So start putting earnings into reinvesting into the next deal. So this is just an example account. You can open as many virtual accounts as you want. You can open it by property type, by entity. It's up to you. And really the benefit of these virtual accounts is they're actually real accounts in a way because they have their own account number, routing number. So you can interact with the outside world by sending money into these accounts and paying expenses like a mortgage or utilities or whatever you have, property management fees outside of this account. So
okay, so just a sec. So when you say virtual account, and they have different account numbers, but say you have 10 LLCs and 10 properties, right? Would you open an account for each LLC? Or, I mean, they're not like legally differently vested accounts when they're virtual accounts, as you call them, right?
Correct. Yeah. So I would recommend generally if it's at the LLC level to open a separate main account, which is the bank account for that LLC. So like if you have 5 different LLCs, open up 5 different accounts for that each LLC. And within the LLC, you can create these virtual accounts at the property level, or let's say by, use case like this, where we have a security deposit or a reserve account and things like that. So I would say at the entity level, it should be a separate account. So that's the virtual accounts. One of my favorite parts is also showcasing our cards. And I think, we've highlighted a few different ways you can create bank accounts. The profit first method has become very popular among real estate investors. So you can do that with the Baselane accounts. Here's an example of that. And if you're a midterm or short-term rental owner, again, you can open up a separate account. You can set up the different sub-accounts how you want it and manage it that way. So within the virtual accounts, as I was going through it here, one aspect is that you can automatically predefine what property it's going to be. And so what that does is all the debits and credits are always going to tag this property for that virtual account. So if you're earning money into this or you're sending money here and you don't want to worry about tagging the property, which always is a headache at the end of the month, it'll automatically tag everything in the property. Now, the other benefit is cards. So you get a physical debit card, Jason, as you got in the mail, and then you can provision unlimited virtual debit cards. And these can be for all kinds of things, depending on your strategy and what you're up to. It could be, a Home Depot card, repair and maintenance card, maybe a water bill card. So what I personally like to do is have a utilities card, a property management card, and I'll use that card. And the benefit of that card is you can not only specify the property, let's say the same property we just did, but you can also predetermine what the bookkeeping category is for that. In this case, we said water and sewer.
Another way to use that, and correct me if I'm wrong, is you can give a card to your handyman, right? Yes. And it can have spending limits on it. You can track their spending. They don't need to call you and bug you every time they need to, buy a little garbage disposal for, $110 or whatever, yes. Right? So that's really cool. And it's my understanding that you get literally 5% back on home improvement items.
Yes. So there is a limit to it in terms of dollar amount. You can look at that as you sign up. But yeah, On anything that's, again, we're trying to give the value back to the real estate investors, and this is a special, product for real estate investors only. So that's why we designed the cashback program to have 5% on anything related to home improvement, basically. So if you go to Lowe's or Home Depot, and I love using it that way, the way you mentioned it, where my handyman or property manager has a card,
Or your assistant,
anybody,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
depending on your strategy.
Your virtual assistant, maybe. Yeah.
And the other one for some of my short-term rentals, I use it for the cleaning, right? The cleaners want to get paid right away. So our manager, she has a card just for cleaning and it's
Mhm.
predefined to the unit and you can have multiple cards. So each unit has its own card and they hook that up into Venmo and pay the cleaner on the spot, for
Wow.
example. And so that again, cleaner's happy, the property manager has efficiency, and we're happy because the everything got paid, bookkeeping is done, and we can move on. So that's a huge benefit right here. I recently demoed this to a really large landlord who has like hundreds of units, and he was kind of just like blown away. He was like, "Oh my gosh, this is going to change the game for us." Because as you know, really one unit is complex, and as you get more units, it gets more complex.
Hmm.
And so that's the huge benefit is you don't want to be sitting there trying to figure out which cleaner spend was for which property, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if the amounts are the same. And so that's one benefit. The other thing is you can connect external accounts. So if you have credit cards, other checking accounts and things like that, you can connect all of that into here, pull it into our master transaction ledger that we've built. And we're very proud of this because we made it as simple as possible. It's not like other accounting software that kind of expects you to be an accountant. This is really for anybody and everybody that just wants to invest and get through this part quickly. So it's what we call one-click categorization. Any transaction you have, all you have to do is click here and figure out like, okay, what's it for? You can type it in, if it's some type of other revenue and search for it here. You can add notes, you can upload receipts, you can split transactions, you can tag multiple transactions at the same time if they're the same type of spend. And so this helps kind of pull everything together. And my favorite part is just looking at the analytics. So you can select a property, you can select a date range. And now I meet so many people at conferences and, just kind of as we speak to our customers, they don't know how they're performing, especially in this market with high inflation, high costs. How do you actually know how much money you're making per door?
Hmm.
And this is critical because I think you need to know your data to scale your business and to optimize your business.
Yeah.
And so this is the kind of view here that shows you, okay, what's my inflow? What's my outflow? Here's an example. In this month, we actually lost money, right? So as the owner, I'm very curious, where's the money going? And if you look at it, you have a huge operating expense and you can dig into it and say, oh, you know what? Okay, we renewed the insurance that year. That's the annual insurance. That's our partner Obi that we work with for rental property insurance. And so we paid that out. So that's why, this month looks like it's a little bit negative. And that's one way to kind of analyze your performance. You can look at monthly, you can look at quarterly. And then my second favorite part is looking at more of a financial statement view, which is your P&L really. And you can pre-filter by some reports that we have. I think most people are familiar with net operating income, which is before, debt service and things like that. So you can select a report, look at how you performed, and then okay, we earned 12,800. After all the expenses, we got to 8,000. That might be a little bit too good, so you probably missed some expenses, right? You want to go back and make sure you got all of those. Or it could be fine, meaning you now need to look at your mortgage so you can go into inflows and outflows, add your debt service. Okay, that looks more realistic. And now it shows you made $3,000 for the 6-month period. So you can export this, you can share it with your partners, your investors, your lenders. I like to use it with the lenders because they always asking you about your financial statements, your performance.
Right.
And
Right.
so this is a super professional way to engage them. And lastly, we prepared a tax section where I know it's tax season right now. Everybody's trying to finalize their numbers to get the tax report filing done. Here you can select the year, select your property, and CPAs want it at the property level. And you can download the tax package with all the receipts that you've uploaded and hand it over to your CPA. They're gonna love you if you do it this way instead of
Yeah.
like a box or like a random Excel sheet that is not accurate and organized.
Yeah, you're going to make it really easy for them. You
Yeah.
did mention one of the nice things is collaborating with various people that you need to work with your CPA, with your lenders, with your virtual assistant, with your real estate agent or your handyman or whatever. Can you show us some of the permission levels and
Yeah,
how you can invite people into the system? And
that's coming. That's not available yet. We're actually working on it as we speak.
Mhm.
So that's something that I think we'll expect sometime in early Q2-ish time frame.
Mhm.
We built everything here based on customer feedback. So we've been building based on what people are prioritizing in the feature requests. So that's something, it's actually a huge feature. I think it's going to unlock a lot of value for all types of investors, but most likely to be launched in early Q2 this year. So keep an
Okay.
eye out for that. I'm super excited about that because that'll allow all of those folks that you said to be able to access the platform, even VAs, right? People are using VAs now to run their business, and they'll be able to help with some of these aspects.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then lastly, I just wanted to show this here. If you're a long-term or mid-term rental type investor, or if you're doing direct bookings for short-term, you're probably going to collect rent. And to collect rent, we've built a very, updated, modern, easy to use property management section here where you can add a property, which is pretty easy. Here's an example of that. You can even, these are static, but you can also add, the property details to keep track of some of those things. You can set up a lease. And so here's an example of one that I was just working on. You can add the lease terms. For example, is it a month-to-month or fixed term? All of that's there. The rental amount. You can add all kinds of fees, recurring or one-time fees. You can define all the things related to security deposit and collecting all the upfront rents, pro rata, etc. Generate all the invoices. This is just an example, but if you have a 12-month lease, it'll generate the entire list of invoices. You can determine which bank account is going to. Obviously, like it's beneficial for you to do the Baselane bank account for all the different reasons we mentioned. But if you have an external account that you want to connect to, you can do that as well.
Hmm.
And
Oh, really interesting. So then it really does. You don't even have to change banks, right?
no, not necessarily. I mean, again, we think there's a lot of value to using our banking solution for running a real estate business. You might have other bank accounts for other purposes, but yeah, you can come in with another type of bank account that you already have to get started with the rent collection. It's not a requirement,
Yeah.
but there are benefits to using Baseline banking in the rent collection context. So, for example, we're introducing things like free ACH. So recently we launched something where we have to cover our costs. So tenants have to pay about $2 for ACH transactions when they pay rent, which is pretty common. I think most platforms actually charge more than that. And so if you use Baseline banking, we're going to offer that for free, for example, as a value. Some of the bookkeeping aspects are auto tagged if it goes into Baseline banking. So there's more value there. So there's things like that. And obviously all the super high APY and cashback that you get. And so, yeah, you can set up a new tenant, invite an existing tenant, depends on how you want to do it. And so super easy. The tenant portal, so you can send this out. You can create a link once you confirm this, and you can text it to your tenant, email your tenant. We'll email the tenant. They have a super easy process, 3, 4 steps to sign up, add a payment method, and start paying. And tenants can pay with ACH, debit, or credit card. And so pretty simple, very easy to use. And what we see a lot of today is folks that are still using manual methods or Zelle or Cash App or things like that. It's not really the right tool to be using for rent collection, especially legally. You don't want to get into situations where you get partial rent, and things like that for eviction
Well,
purposes.
tell us about that. I mean, what's the problem with, say, Zelle, for example?
I mean, there's a few things, right? So one, if you meet anybody that has a few properties and they're using Zelle, the number one thing you're going to hear about is, well, I can't track when people are paying, so I can't charge late fees, right? Well, one person paid on the 4th, one person paid on the 8th, one person paid on the 9th. Then if you add a few months of this complexity into the system, you're going to be all over the place as the owner. You're never going to have track. So any
Yeah.
of these systems, because they're not designed to be for rent collection, there's no ability to charge all these fees and invoices like I showed, or late fees automatically. You're not able to really track those things. That's
Right.
the big problem. The other is like in certain situations, if you have to evict or things like that, certain states, if you collect partial rent,
yeah, then the eviction is postponed.
Right.
So
And those platforms, you can't stop money from coming in if they send you like a Venmo or a PayPal or
that's a
something.
very good point. Yes, you'd have to affirmatively send it back to them and say, I'm not accepting this. You have to pay the full amount. Yeah.
Exactly. But really the reconciliation and tracking and the discipline of charging the late fee
Mhm.
is something that's all automated here, and that's the big benefit. And we obviously it's also free. And so for the landlord, and if you're using the banking, it's going to be free for the tenant as well. So free, super easy, updated, modern, um, and really gets rid of that headache of the owner trying to chase people down for rent. And I
Yep.
think when you're in the smaller, if you're not using a property manager, if you're just starting out, that's a huge benefit to you. Yeah, so that's a quick overview. We're building other things as well. A part of the vision is to integrate financial solutions in here, so you don't really have to go outside this platform to do some of your business. So one of the things we recently launched was a lease document. So here now, through the Rocket Lawyer, which is one of our partners, we've integrated an API that allows landlords, and you can get 3 free leases here to create a lease document, set it up, and send it for e-signature to the prospective tenant. And we're working on tenant screening. So that's going to be available later this year, for example, and all kinds of things really. Like if you think about all the different things that landlords need, like rental property insurance, you can get a quote from Baselane within this platform in 2 to 3 minutes,
Mhm.
basically. So that's the vision, is like the insurance, the lending, and all these things. We want to bring it together, and we're doing our best to bring the best, partners that we can find that somebody like myself personally uses. So we feel comfortable making those recommendations and helping our landlord customers and investors really like not only manage and kind of get by and optimize, but also really thrive, right? Like it's not just about, okay, now I know how I'm doing. It's actually more about like, great, now how can I get my, portfolio to 2x, 3x of where I
Right,
am?
to really optimize it. And
Yeah.
would you say that this product works for short-term rentals as well as long-term rentals? Not that I'm a huge fan of short-term rentals because I'm not, but people will ask the question and I just want to
Yes,
know.
absolutely. Yeah, we have many customers that are both in the midterm and short term. I mean, midterm is becoming more popular now
I
uh,
agree. Yeah.
because of the laws that are changing across the country. And I'm a victim of that too, but it is what it is. But I think, yeah, with short-term rentals, if you're using, Airbnb or Vrbo or things like that, then really where we can add value is on the banking side as well as the bookkeeping. All right,
Mhm.
that helps you. And this is not only for the owners directly, but also the co-hosts or property managers can use this as well. And for midterm, just like a long-term landlord or investor, you can use it for the banking side. You can use it for the online rent collection as well as the bookkeeping, right? Because midterm folks are going to have to probably collect rent directly, and they need to like have a lease agreement, screen the tenant, and do all those things anyway, like a long-term landlord does. It's just that their lease is maybe a different format, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Good
Yeah.
stuff. Anything else you'd like people to know?
No, I think we covered everything. I think the best way to that we recommend folks to engage with us is to, go. I know you're going to provide a link. Check out the link.
Right.
There's a special offer for everybody that's through Jason's channel.
Yeah, we
And
do have a very special offer for you, actually. It's a really, it's a great offer. And so that link for the special offer is baselane.com/Jason. And just know that it's Lane, not line. It's baselane.com/Jason. And you get the special offer, chance to win a $500 gift card. The one last question I have for you is about the banking side of it. Basically, this is built on a banking platform, which is a really unique idea in the real estate fintech space. And it's a regular bank, right? FDIC insured, et cetera. Can you explain all of that to people?
absolutely. So we have a sponsor bank called Thread Bank, and all this information is available on our website as well. And so anybody that wants to learn more about it, there's a whole article dedicated to that. So we are a financial technology company and a platform that's offering banking services. And we work with a bank called Thread Bank, that is the licensed bank in the United States. Uh, and they are the ones that have the member FDIC insurance.
And you
Yeah.
offer a pretty good rate on, I guess that's a money market or treasury rate. I'm not sure which, on cash sitting in the account. It's over 4% currently. That's subject to change, of course. I think it's 4.19 at the time of this broadcast, possibly. And you also offer sort of an extended FDIC insurance, I believe. Can you talk about that?
Yes. So traditionally, you have up to $250,000, right? FDIC insurance. It's been interesting that there's been investors on the platform with a lot more cash, right? Because they're able to enjoy the higher APY. But of course, they wanted naturally to have higher coverage. So we've introduced a new program that is more based on like a money market sweep type setup on the back end that allows us to offer much higher FDIC insurance. I'm just double checking here. It's up to a maximum of $2.5 million, basically. And so if you want to get more details, again, in the fine print of our website, there's a whole section on it. We have help articles that talk about that through our help channel as well. And of course, we offer live demos to customers. And so if you ever have any questions, you want to talk through any of these things, we're available.
Excellent. You know, folks, it is getting easier and easier to do remote self-management, hybrid self-management, our favorite strategy. Fire your property managers. You've got such great tools like Baselane that are here to help you. We're here to help you as well at jasonhartman.com. It's just another step making it easier and easier for you with this technology and the merger of real estate, fintech, and banking all on one platform. So that's baselane.com/Jason for the special offer. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Great to be here.